Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Zilliqa podcast. Today, I have Oliver and Joel with me. They both are from Xcademy, and today we are going to talk to them more about what they are building. And they are building something on Zilliqa as well. So we are going to talk about that as well. So to kick things off, Oliver, first of all, can you give a brief about yourself, and then Joel, you can then you can also jump in, and then we can go deeper into this.
Okay, cool. So a little bit about myself. I've kind of been an entrepreneur my whole life. I used to do a lot kind of in the Xbox and kind of development space. And then I kind of moved into e-commerce. I'm going to say until we started Xcademy, every single thing I've done before that, I've made basically Shopify websites. I used to be one of the biggest, I don't know if you know the video game like FIFA or like Madden, the digital currency within that. And I ran one of the biggest websites about 3 or 4 years ago in that, and now I've taken a shift to cryptocurrency, and I can kind of get into how I kind of got into cryptocurrency, I guess, in a bit after Joel's introduced himself.
Yeah, Joel, can you?
Yes. Yeah, so I'll follow on from that. So I'm a YouTuber. I started when I was 12. It's a funny story, actually. I didn't mean to directly start YouTube. I was trying to get onto You've Been Framed to make £250, which you got £250 back then for doing it. Didn't get on You've Been Framed, but it was the start of that. And I just sort of fell in love with YouTube. I thought it was really cool. Like Ollie, I was really interested in business, and I kind of ended up being my first real business pursuit that went a lot further than I expected. I managed to, started to really take off when I was around about 16, became really one of the biggest, and this is how I met Ollie in terms of FIFA YouTubers. So I used to play games and shout over them, make videos, which is a concept that is a little better known now, but back then my parents were very confused as to what I was doing and why I was potentially prioritizing it over school. But yeah, then sort of just kept going from there. Managed to be in a couple really big boxing events, which a couple of people might have heard of, KSI Joe Weller, which is the biggest white collar boxing event in history, and then Logan Paul KSI 2, which I was on as well. Had an MMA fight as well, which was pretty cool, and did a variety of other quite cool things around YouTube, and then sort of took a little bit of a step back and decided that I wanted to really pursue the deep interest of business that was initially that all started. And I think, like I said, YouTube kind of took over initially, and then I kind of realized that I've actually generated a great audience and a great platform and quite a good network to then actually go into it. And that's sort of where Xcademy came about and where we are now.
Gotcha. Yeah, that actually leads really well into Xcademy. So, for people who might not know about Xcademy, Oliver, can you give a brief on the background and what was your inspiration? Both of you saw what was the problem you saw that led to the starting of Xcademy?
So I'll tell you a little bit about why we kind of founded Xcademy, and Joel will tell you a little bit about kind of how the business kind of ran. So around 2 years ago, I was speaking at a blockchain conference in Seville, in Spain, and every single kind of Black Friday was coming, and every single Black Friday I've always kind of done a Black Friday store, something that I would start up and then would close it down maybe a few days later. And after speaking at this event, I thought, for the first time ever, we don't have anything. I don't have any business to really just launch for kind of a Black Friday special. So kind of going through my phone list and stuff, and I called Joel up, and we trying to bounce ideas off each other, and we said, what do you think about a YouTube academy? Because right now I don't think the most wanted job in the world by what is it, under 18-year-old job? That's right,
Just,
right?
Yeah, teens.
Is to become a YouTuber. So the original idea was just to make a Shopify store where we were going to sell a collection of videos which Joel produced, kind of for a £30 one-time purchase, and it was going to teach you to become a YouTuber. But then what happened is me and Joel actually got back to the UK, and we had everything ready. And we actually sat down and thought, okay, there's something bigger here. Look at subscription models. All the upsells we can do on this. There's something bigger than this quick business. So we kind of put it on hold. And I can tell you a little bit how we got funding and stuff for that in a bit. But I'll let Joel tell you a little bit more about kind of how Xcademy actually functions.
Yeah, absolutely. So we kind of, it really dawned on us. It was something that obviously going through the long process of learning what the hell I'm actually doing on YouTube and how much should I be uploading, how long should my videos, how do I keep viewers engaged and keep my retention high, my click-through rate up, and these all. So there's loads of networking and organizing your schedule, and there's so many things that go into YouTube, and it is slightly harder than I think some people might think, and it takes a lot of trial and error, especially just because there was nothing really out there because it's so new, in terms of sort of teaching people how to do it. And you kind of thought, like, if you want to be a lawyer, you go to law school. If you want to be a SEAL, then you go through buds. But if you want to be a YouTuber, which apparently loads of teenagers do want to be, there's nothing really out there. And so we sort of saw that as a big opportunity. And then it's evolved quite a bit. We started off focusing purely on educational content on quite a low monthly subscription basis. And where it was subscription content, obviously there's a big focus on the community and everyone linking together, helping each other out, and watching these videos, which were from a variety of different YouTubers, not just me at all, with a total host following, I think, of over 50 million now, which is really cool. And then it keeps evolving. It's evolved even further now, where we have a marketing tool, so people can essentially be able to pay very small amounts of money and get 5-10 times more views than they might normally, and it's to actually like targeted people, which is something that I kind of wish that I could have had when I started out. So I went for a long time getting 50 for every video. Other features that really were trying to build out a full YouTube suite, which really caters for a lot of the aspiring YouTubers' needs, while also giving them the educational content and the network support and the live streams and everything that goes with helping to ensure that people can be as successful as possible.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think YouTube has now had a very large influence on my life as well, because I'm also pretty young, and I started watching YouTube very early on, and as I see my younger sibling also growing, I see she also started a YouTube channel, and there's definitely a lot of benefit for having different voices to speak on things instead of just some media houses and stuff. So in terms of people that have used X Academy, what have been your sort of success stories, and do you sort of follow some themes, like in yeah, what I mean by that is like there are various categories of YouTubers, right? That you can be, say, a gaming YouTuber, you can be a comedian, maybe you are running a podcast or an educational channel. What sort of themes do you target as well?
Yeah, so we've had a couple of people that have done insanely well already, despite not sort of normally it taking much longer than this to be successful on YouTube. So Believing Bruce is one of them. I think he's got 170,000 subscribers now, and he basically it's more or less just started when he joined Xcademy, which is insane in about a year. There's also a guy called Woken, I think, who's got multiple million plus view videos, which is really, really sick. And then other people just generally, those are really insane achievements in that small amount of time. When you consider sort of, I've got 2.5 million YouTube subscribers now, but it took me 2 or 3 channels and 3 years to get to 10,000 subscribers. So it's those are really amazing results to see. And then there's loads of people on not quite at that scale just yet, but they're doing really well and they're uploading consistently. They've got thousands of subscribers, for example, and they're really building that base and nurturing those skills. Because if there's one thing to sort of blow up, then there's another thing when you do blow up. And a lot of YouTube it's about looking like an overnight success, but really you've spent the last 2 years grinding so that you're in the position to actually take advantage of that video that goes viral. Because you can go viral, but then you can fall off very quickly if your content is not engaging, if you're not ready for it, if you're not ready to follow up with consistent content that is targeted gains. So there's lots of people that I think as it keeps developing will start to really blow up further and further.
I think as well, in the kind of the world we live in, I think kind of network is king, right? So for example, okay, you might not become a successful YouTuber, right? But you're going to meet other people that have the same mindset as you. These people that are trying to become YouTubers, they're taking the first step in kind of that entrepreneurial type journey, if that kind of makes sense. So I think even though not everyone will be successful that comes through the Xcademy platform, in terms of kind of views and growing on YouTube, I think everyone that comes out of it will come out with some type of benefit, And we focus a lot on mental health control, right?
Yes, so we work a lot around that. So I have a history with that, and I've been able to overcome it myself. And so I like to focus on that where we can, as well as really focusing on life skills as a supplement. So everything that we do talk about, which is a bit more technical to YouTube, we do focus on soft skills, which I don't believe are taught enough in school. Like, you know, how do you stay motivated? How do you network with people? How do you communicate effectively? How do you organize your schedule well? I don't know how much has changed in sort of the 5 years since I haven't been in school, but I didn't really get taught any of that at all. But what did teach me that, because I didn't used to be able to speak to a rock, let alone get on a podcast and not stutter every 3 seconds. And so YouTube taught me this. Like, I was literally, the transformation is insane, and I was naturally terrible at speaking. I'm naturally an introvert. I was managed to sort of come out my shell massively and grow, sort of develop some really good soft skills via YouTube and via talking on camera and via talking to friends on YouTube. And then we're trying to sort of make it a bit more actionable, a bit more deliberate in terms of teaching those and doing courses on those really important skills that I just don't think are focused on enough.
Interesting. Yeah, I think like having maybe this curriculum part of even school education might also be interesting idea, because I don't know, like uh,
So it's funny you say that. We can't really disclose, but we've been in contact with 2 big schools in the UK. When we reached out to them, I was quite surprised by their response, you know, because their kind of requirements for this is obviously, I think, you know, Joel said, this type of traditional skills and even stuff like bullying, it's not really taught much in school. And are you going to listen to your teacher? Are you going to listen to one of your, you know, someone you look up to as a big YouTuber? So when we have discussions with schools, they want to kind of focus on kind of the mental kind of health side. They want to make students complete the mental health side and then unlock the YouTube stuff as kind of a reward. So it's really interesting to see, you know, if this can go mainstream in schools as well, it's, well, pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think like what do you think that this adds to society? Like if people have, you know, everyone has their own channel, they create their own niches. Like what sort of benefits do you think like this enable having multiple YouTube channels? Yeah.
I think it can be actually quite large in the fact that, you know, the society today is massively built on capitalism, built on entrepreneurs trying to push the boundaries and create cool stuff. And being, like Ollie said, this is creating, like, almost, it is like running a little business. It's trying something new. You're managing it yourself. You're making sure that everything's on time, right? You're having to learn different skills that are specific to this. And it's creating more entrepreneurs, and it's also furthering that. And this is the bit that I think is incredibly important, because I wish that I'd have focused on it more when I was a kid. Like, in school, I was not engaged. Like, it didn't engage me. It didn't do it for me. And I know that a lot of people were in the same position. YouTube engaged me, and it sort of helped me develop certain skills. And if we can get more younger people engaged in learning, and engaged in learning because they actually, and because they enjoy it and it's something they want to do, but they're actually still picking up skills that are going to be very, very useful to them, I think the societal benefits can be, you know, widespread.
Gotcha. Okay, so for you guys right now, like what's the structure of the program? Can you just give a overview to the audience, like how, like, yeah, what are the specifics of the program?
Yeah, so it's quite, I think there's over 140 videos, so it's quite widespread. I'd have to quickly, let me grab this up actually, just so that I don't butcher it.
Right.
Yes, we have a new video schedule every month, so content is constantly being added. But we cover the core skills. So some of the core things that are really covered in depth is content. So creating content, because it's absolutely key. How do you keep people engaged? How do you essentially create content that people want to watch and want to watch for a long time and want to keep watching? Networking is a massive one, because a lot of YouTube channels are built off collaborations. They're built off being able to share audiences, and that promotes all kinds of better things, such as content, for example. Obviously, we start off with the basics of setting up your YouTube channel. What's your first video going to be about? What would you name your channel? All those basic things, as well as then going a little bit more technical in understanding the analytics, which is super important, because YouTube is massively data driven. And if you can understand that data and the metrics that are important, then I think you have a massive advantage. And so it's content, cover the basics, networking, obviously all the life skills are covered massively, how to go viral, which it all links together. So how to go viral in terms of the different things that you need to do, which includes how do you title and thumbnail your videos. One of the most important things I think that people don't quite realize is the title and thumbnail is at least half as important as anything else. You know, it's literally a big part of the marketing of the video. If you don't, you could have the best video in the world, but if your title and thumbnail doesn't live up to it and it doesn't essentially incentivize people to click, YouTube's not going to show it to anyone. So understanding that, I think, is really important, and really understanding how do you make your titles and thumbnails appealing, how do you get people's attention, and then how do you keep it with good content. Developing different things within your channel, such as series or even like your personality within, which allows viewers to connect with you on a deeper level, because I think the connection element is so important. That's why some YouTubers are so big, because of their cult following, and it's not an accident. It's because people really connect with them in a different way that maybe they did with people that could have been quote unquote stars 20 years ago. You'd see them on a movie screen and that kind of would be it. Whereas you really get an insight into a YouTuber's life and their personality and who they are, what they believe in. And so actually cultivating that and making sure your true self comes across on camera. Camera confidence is another thing that I think is quite a hard thing for a lot of people. So how do you present? How do you come across really confident on camera, or not even necessarily really confident, sorry, but how do you make sure you feel confident on camera, that you can be yourself and sort of say what you want to say and how you want to say it, and developing that is super important. So we pretty much do cover the end to end of everything, and sort of stage it within as it advances. Obviously it gets more technical and it gets more advanced and there's more nuanced stuff, but we start with the basics and make sure that they have all those initially, and we grow from there. And then also one of the things I think that we try to do most is cultivate the mindset, because you can lead a horse to water, but you can't really make them drink. And so getting them in that mindset to think, because we're not going to be able to give them all the ideas, but what we can do is help them cultivate the mindset to actually be able to then think of those ideas and find those ideas and keep improving. And one of the things we do, and I probably go on about it way too much, is just try and like small incremental improvements will win you whatever. You don't take advantage of compound. And I think obviously we don't necessarily always explain it like that, because that is more advanced, but the way we try and explain things that everyone's going to fully comprehend, and we just harp on, and it's really cool to see. It's amazing. Such a young, some of it's a young community, and there's such a young group of people sometimes that are so always helping each other, always motivated, or sort of putting motivational quotes in the Discord, and sort of pushing everyone to keep getting better. I think is a mindset that will do you well for life. So yeah, hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, 100%. I think I definitely learned something as well. So in terms of like using blockchain, now let's sort of go into that as well, because I think that's also a very deeper conversation. Can you give an overview? Maybe Oliver, you can talk about how you guys stumbled upon blockchain, and then where are you seeing the use of blockchain or tokens inside the Xcademy platform?
Do you mean personally how I come across blockchain to start off, or?
Yeah. Personally, as well as for Xcademy as well, when you were maybe looking at how you can improve your platform. Yeah.
Cool. So maybe around 2016, I got into cryptocurrency through Bitcoin by pure accident. So on my e-commerce website, one of my suppliers wanted to be paid in Bitcoin. And I was like, I think Bitcoin was around $400. And I was like, what the hell is Bitcoin? And it was quite hard to buy. As someone that's never really bought this type of stuff before, it's a little bit confusing to buy. And I went on hack forums and I paid a guy for it on Hack Forums Direct. It was a little bit hackery, the whole thing, a bit sketchy. Transaction took a little while. In the end, the supplier told me, you've got to, it's taking too long, can you just pay me via PayPal? So I was stuck with this Bitcoin stuff, and I was like, this is like, I need to get rid of this, but kind of how do I sell it? Where do I sell it to? And it was all quite new to me. And I thought, I'm not gonna lie to you, I thought this thing's never really gonna take off. I didn't start looking at technology behind it. And then what happened is, I think it went over like $1,000. And I think at that point I thought, okay, there's something here now. Why is this value of this increasing? And what's kind of the underlying technology behind it? So I started kind of looking at blockchain, not cryptocurrency, the blockchain side of stuff. And I was thinking, okay, cool. Actually, this new technology is definitely worth kind of looking into, because anything that can make, business more efficient or transparent, it is going to take off as a ticking time bomb, So I kind of got into cryptocurrency by pure accident, to be honest with you. And then obviously I started I advise a few footballers on crypto investments and stuff like that, and have discussions with people. So I really now kind of moved into kind of crypto. I'm not gonna say full time, but alongside kind of Xcademy. And I've kind of accidentally grown a decent sized following on Twitter. I was an early investor in Zilliqa at private sale.
Nice. So, in terms of using the, using the token for X Academy and use of blockchain as well, can you, just give an overview about that?
So there's two kind of sides of the Xcademy blockchain project. The first one we stumbled across because we had a slight issue with engagement on the platform. You know, there's all these people making videos, but we tried gamifying it. So we said, if you help someone else, you can get experience points, you can level up. But at the minute, if you go on Xcademy's platform, very few people are watching other people's videos. Very few people are giving, good feedback to help others improve their content. Gamification just wasn't working. So I called someone up from Zilliqa. I said, look, users are struggling to get growth because, some of the students were only getting like 50, 60 views. And obviously that's quite demotivating if they're putting a lot of time and effort into it, especially when they're quite new to it. So I called someone up from Zilliqa, and I actually was looking at kind of the back model with how kind of Brave advertising works. And I said, to get in the YouTube algorithm, we're pretty sure we know how the YouTube algorithm works and what triggers certain stuff to be put into the YouTube algorithm. So I called someone from Zilliqa up and I said, okay, how does this sound if we start rewarding people with a token for watching 80% or more of someone's video? Because if there's a financial incentive to watch someone else's video, they're going to do it, right? So obviously the viewer that watches the video wins. The person that's actually hosting the video wins, because if a lot of people do this, YouTube, because by the way, the YouTube video is embedded into Xcademy's platform, so YouTube's more likely to suggest that video to other users on YouTube to help organic growth. So that was kind of what sparked the whole thing off. And then we went a little bit deeper. To be fair, we built a whole ecosystem of tools. So that the whole Xcademy platform now is about to be powered by the Xcademy token, not for cash. So if you want to use a marketing tool, you have to pay for it, via the Xcademy token. The whole idea is on this side of stuff that the users don't even need to know it's cryptocurrency. Okay. Yes, they can buy it and hold it, and it might be a bit volatile, but most of the students are used to games and stuff. So it's kind of like a gamified financial kind of experience. And of course, if real day users actually need to buy the Xcademy token on the platform to use the services, there's actual proper demand here. I feel like at the minute in the crypto space, and you see a lot of people complain about marketing, complain about the price, and that's because they rely on speculation of the actual token for kind of growth. Whereas what we're trying to do here at Xcademy is actually create real organic demand for the token, not from the crypto community, from the actual users. And we've got about 80,000 free users right now. So on that side of stuff, you can imagine it's going to be quite a bit of demand. Don't get me wrong, you can earn tokens, but you can also buy the tokens on the platform. So that's kind of on a low level, how the Xcademy token itself works on the platform. But on the other side, I don't know if you saw Mr. Beast tweeted the other day. Mr. Beast is the biggest YouTuber.
I saw that tweet, yeah.
And he tweeted, he wished he could invest in YouTube as at kind of an early stage. Although he kind of said he wished it was a YouTuber stock market, obviously he can't really do that type of stuff. But what we've been working on for maybe the last 3 or 4 months is actually tokenizing influencers or content creators on YouTube itself. So for example, let's say Joel is a content creator, and let's say he doesn't have 2.5 million subscribers. Let's say he's got 50,000, right? Right now, Joel still needs to do kind of, I'm going to say, a normal traditional job and focus on content creation, right? And he doesn't know where he's going to, where's the money going to come from? He's obviously going to be quite worrying, And if he doesn't focus on, on the content creation, he might not reach his potential and he might become a failure kind of in YouTube. So what here is, okay, cool. So Joel now comes to Xcademy. Joel goes, okay, I want to organize myself. Then what happens is the Xcademy community using the Xcademy token, which is almost like governance, will kind of say, okay, cool. Okay, we want Joel to tokenize itself. And then what happens is there's a pot of tokens that are split into kind of 3. So Joel gets some tokens, Xcademy gets some tokens. And then also we have a kind of a viewer pot. So now what happens is, I'm not going to go into too much detail exactly how this works, but every single time now, Joel says to his audience, okay, guys, do you want to earn some tokens which have financial value or could have financial value if you watch my YouTube video, So I watch Joel on YouTube now, using the Xcademy technology directly on YouTube, by the way. I watch Joel's video. I get rewarded with a JMX token, right? Joel obviously has tokens as well, but they're vested in the Xcademy community with governance. So on certain milestones for JMX to unlock, I'm going to say tokens. So if Joel gets 1 million subscribers, 500 more subscribers, he's going to unlock utility tokens, you know, as he grows and hits certain milestones. So now every single time I watch JMX's video, I get a JMX token. Now with this JMX token, I can sell that token for cash, but obviously, you know, you're gonna have to watch a lot of JMX videos to achieve a decent amount of value of tokens. As Joel grows as well, tokens are burnt, almost like a bonding curve. So as Joel grows, obviously there's less tokens in circulation, there's gonna be more demand, right? And we're trying to work out as well how people can, if people think Joel's got good potential to grow, they can invest in Joel's token. As kind of a content creator as well. So it's almost like, and then they basically like influencermarketcap.com we've just bought, which is a little bit like coinmarketcap.com. I don't know if that makes sense at a low level. So Joel grows, you know, in theory, less tokens on the market, supply and demand. More people want to invest in Joel's token as a curator. And obviously, you know, these people can reap the rewards as it grows. And when he tokenizes himself as well, there's a certain amount of, because these are utility tokens, but there's also going to be NFTs on the market. We're going to have some type of YouTube trading game. So when Joel does tokenize himself, let's say there'll be 30 JMX cards on the market as well, which can only be bought with the JMX token. If that kind of makes sense.
No, I get what you're saying. I just to sort of explain to the audience, because this is a sort of 3D chess sort of thing, 4D chess that you are playing. So it's that we have one token, which is the Xcademy token, which is sort of like the governance token that tells that whether the creator would get their own would have the ability to get their own token, and then that the creator's token is then created, and that can be used for some maybe NFTs or some exclusive content or some exclusive things that some maybe a private group where you get access to the creator, and then if the creator's channel grows, then the value of that token will also increase, and since the creator will have some percentage of that token himself, he will also benefit financially, and his early supporters who got the token early at maybe at a lesser price, or because they were early there was more inflation, then they will get more rewards as well. So I think this is the structure, right? Am I right?
That's right. And also at the same time, you'll be able to stake the Xcademy token with, let's say, the JMX token, and which would obviously take the Xcademy tokens off the market. And obviously, because it's organic on Xcademy platform, you can kind of work out what's going to happen. But when you stake the tokens, you're going to get a bonus or a multiplier on the rewards you earn from watching JMX videos, because obviously that benefits the Xcademy token holders as well. There is, you know, because it's taking them off the market.
Super interesting. So in terms of like like the issue, I think what I see with social tokens right now has been that people usually for maybe watching a video you would give someone say $1, right, or something very small amount worth of tokens. But with the gas fees on Ethereum or some other chains, like if the gas fees itself is $5, or if you want to say use that token which is worth $5-10 and the fees is $10, then it doesn't make sense to do it, right? Like that was that an issue that you saw, and then you sort of looked at Zilliqa or and some other blockchains as well?
There was only one company we were ever going to build on. I've been an early investor at Zilliqa since private sale, and Joel's been in it for a very, very long time as well. And when I first invested in Zilliqa, I invested in it because I understood the problem it was solving, and the Ethereum fees and stuff. And obviously, since then, I've grown a relationship with the Zilliqa team. And we're not just building on Zilliqa, we're in partnership with Zilliqa. You know, I don't think there is any doubt on who we're going to build with here. And they've also added a lot of value.
Gotcha.
So, of course, the transaction fees and stuff comes into it, but there's multiple reasons why we're kind of building on Zilliqa, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Okay.
And of course, right. So obviously, I've been in Zilliqa since day one. And what's going through my mind when I'm thinking about this project is, you know, if we start tokenizing a lot of creators, all of these different tokens are going to be on Zilliqa, you know, and I really want to help move Zilliqa forward in terms of kind of transactions on the network and kind of, you know, how many tokens and products to build on the network. This can be actual mainstream adoption, you know, because we've got the Xcademy side where actual users don't even know it's cryptocurrency, but the tokenization of these influencers, and we already have influencers with over 50 million followers that will kickstart this thing. We're actually looking at, I'm going to say, proper adoption here. I think very few projects have adoption like this. Actually, I think this can be one of the first ever mass adopted cryptocurrencies as such.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's super interesting. Also, I think the issue with crypto has been that it's so niche, right? Like it's people, uh, it's either people who understand like finance or very technical people. Usually, I think it's a mix of those that are in crypto right now. So with the next wave of adoption will be driven by Web 2.0 communities coming to crypto, right? And I think we the thing is that you need those communities, and the creators have the power. They have so much influence already. I think if someone can tap into that, then that definitely will drive a lot of growth and a lot of new users to come into crypto as well.
I just think cryptocurrency is too confusing. I tried to get my dad into cryptocurrency. He actually invested in Zilliqa, but for him, and he's a traditional kind of investor in stocks and stuff, it completely blew his mind. I don't think okay, cool. I know the buying process at the minute is a bit all over the place, but even from a kind of, like I said, users that watch JMX's video after this system is put in place, why do they need to know it's cryptocurrency? Unless they want to actually go and come to advanced mode and ask further details, why do they need to know this stuff? And to be honest with you, I'm looking at this now and I'm thinking, why has no one else done this? Why has no one tried to make streamline this process and make it simpler? You know, we don't need to tell people you're staking tokens in a liquidity pool or whatever. You know, you just need to say you're going to get a multiplier on your reward if you use this and this together. You know, and I think I had an interesting call this morning with Zilliqa, and we're going to be working very closely with them to kind of make sure it's in simplified terms.
Gotcha. Like also for like doing key management and stuff. I think that also is a challenge for many people, right? Managing private keys and understanding that. And I think you already are thinking on those lines. Like what are some other challenges you feel normal people might face when they interact with a creator's token?
I think a major one, you know, if you want to buy a decent chunk of this, let's say JMX token, I think a major one is this whole KYC process as well, and kind of payment gateways. You know, I think it's a little bit scary for certain people. I mean, especially my dad, the fact he had to do KYC in Coinbase, and he didn't know much about Coinbase, he was a little bit like. So I think that's a major hurdle we're still working on how to cross. To be honest with you, that I think that, and obviously the long addresses on Zilliqa and Ethereum and stuff is too long for an everyday user, but on the Xcademy platform, we're going to peg a username to an address. So the user, unless they go on advanced mode, and if they go on advanced mode, they can learn about cryptocurrency and they can deposit. They're just going to literally be sending. If you can send tokens internally to Xcademy, and it's just going to be straight to someone else's username. And I think that's key to be honest with you for adoption.
Yeah, agreed. Coming to the creator side of things, Joel, what sort of, as a creator, what do you think that using a token, what use cases do you think this enables you? And just thinking about like putting your creator hat on, how do you look at this having tokens for creators that allow their community members to become part of their success?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's sort of two sides to it. I think Ollie slightly touched on it, but the issue is like, you know, at that stage, anywhere from sort of 20,000 to 200,000, you're going somewhere. It's looking very promising, but you're not making necessarily enough money for it to be a living, and it's quite paradoxical in a way, like Ollie mentioned, because you need to put your full effort in so that you can eventually make a living out of it. But you also need to work so that you can actually make a living now, and therefore you can't put the full effort into it, which is a big problem. And it's whether you take the leap. And I've been through it. Obviously, I was quite a bit younger when I did it, so it wasn't quite as much of a risk for me. But I've still been in that stage where I took the decision. I just went for it. I took the risk. I dropped sick form and said, "Yeah, I'm not going. I'm just going to try and give this a go." And that was big for me. That was, well, it wasn't that big for me, but more for my parents. They were pretty mortified is a good word, but I think it gives them a bit more security and makes it a bit more tangible, because they can see that that they've got these governed milestones that they can go ahead and hit, and that really helps. And then also on the side of being able to reward those loyal people that are there from the start, I think smaller creators need more to take it away from being a couple monopolies. We need smaller creators with more loyal fans, and so this gives those loyal fans. There's more incentive maybe to watch smaller creators than it does bigger creators because of the potential upside, and especially ones that you think could be going at somewhere. So going back to my point of connection being so important in this industry, it builds a greater connection because you feel even more aligned on a journey with that creator, because you can directly benefit, and you're just invested in that. And so I think both sides of those things can be really are especially appealing, and will go down really well, and they tie into each other nicely.
Going back to the adoption point, I just want to kind of add something. I think a lot of projects in the crypto space, they try and reinvent the wheel a lot. They try and rebuild YouTube. Let's be realistic, that's never going to happen, right? So the way we've looked at it is, we want to almost add more value to the YouTube experience without reinventing the wheel. So the fact that creators don't need to do anything different besides tell the audience to do certain stuff to kind of trigger this whole process. I think that's as well where adoption is going to kind of come in. Why has no one built something like this on top of YouTube already? I just feel like there is a few other companies that are looking at tokenizing influencers and stuff, but no influencer is going to go out of the way, start uploading content where they've got no followers on a new platform just to tokenize themselves.
The barriers to entry are too high on a different platform.
Yeah, agreed. Also, yeah, for the NFT space, as we were just touching on that as well. Joel, have you seen like I just want you some thoughts, as because I think in the crypto industry, people just discuss among themselves, right? Like what is good, and this space is growing up. But as a creator, what sort of things do you think NFTs enable? And yeah, what are your general thoughts on in the NFT space as well? Yeah.
Certainly, you see in the YouTube space that people just want what not many people have, and it's something scarce, and there's a big draw towards that. And so I think it can definitely transfer over and work really well. There's there's loads of things going on, and it's a bit similar. I don't know if you guys have seen, but there's a big craze on YouTube with Pokemon cards, and it's got a similar kind of feel to it. They want those cards because there's only so many of them, and now they're rocketing in prices. And so, yeah, I think transferring that over and having that specific to YouTubers, and potentially even having, one of very few of a certain YouTuber's NFT, it could be very, very cool, and definitely going to have enough of an audience to be viable.
Okay, gotcha. How can people stay updated? Do you have a Twitter and stuff?
Yeah, you can follow Xcademy official on Twitter. You can follow what's your Twitter handle, Joe? JMX2525, right?
Yeah,
no, it's JMX FIFA still. I need to change that one. I know, I definitely need to change that. It's too OG.
Yeah. So or follow me. I'm pretty sure a chunk of the viewers probably already follow me. Ollie245 on Twitter.
cool.
Yeah. So that's kind of where we're at with the whole process.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's really cool. I really like what you guys are building in terms of, and you guys are I think quite practical in your approach. And I think that's what also the crypto industry also now needs. We are There's too much DeFi degening going on these days. We need some real use cases, and yeah, I wish you the best for Xcademy, and hopefully the Zilliqa community also can get involved with Xcademy.